You ever notice life feels like a bill that just keeps showing up in the mail every month? Same envelope, different number. You don't even remember signing up for this subscription. Nobody asked you, hey, you want to exist. They just dropped you here, gave you a name, a social security number, and said, good luck paying for it. From the moment you're born, the meter starts running. First, it's baby food, then it's school supplies, then it's that 1 degree your parents swear will make you rich. But instead, you just get really good at debt. Life is like a loan you can never pay off, only refinance with more disappointment. They tell you, get a job, save money, buy a house. Sounds great until you realize you'll spend 40 years paying off a building you'll barely be conscious enough to enjoy. You don't own the house. The bank does! You just get to dust it, and people wonder why I don't trust the system. The whole world runs on imaginary paper. You work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, just so you can buy coffee that costs half your hourly wage. And then the government takes a bite out of your paycheck before you even see it. That's not taxation. That's pickpocketing with paperwork. Ever look at your pay stub? They take federal tax, state tax, Social Security, Medicare, retirement. By the time you're done, you're basically working for the joy of being tired. And don't even start on adulthood. It's the biggest scam of all. When you're a kid, you can't wait to grow up. Then you grow up and realize adults are just children with bills and anxiety. They don't have it figured out. They just have better excuses. I'm not lazy. I'm just conserving energy. Yeah, sure, Einstein. We live in a world where people finance happiness. They'll take out a loan for a vacation, buy a car they can't afford, and swipe a card to feel good for 5 seconds. And then they wonder why they're stressed. Because life's not a vacation. It's a subscription service with no cancel button. So here's the deal. Life is a bill you can't pay. But you can laugh while you're being overcharged. The trick isn't to pay it off. It's to make sure you enjoy the interest. Because in the end, the collectors always win, and the rest of us are just trying to get a few laughs before the final notice shows up. You ever realize nobody asked you if you wanted to be here? Nobody. You just woke up one day crying, bald, broken, surrounded by strangers who are already disappointed in you. That's life's first trick. You didn't sign up for this, didn't click, I agree, didn't read the terms and conditions. You just opened your eyes and boom. Welcome to Earth. Kid, here's your bill. From the moment you show up, everything costs something. You cost your parents sleep, money, and their sanity. You're a financial burden wrapped in a blanket. And it doesn't stop there. They start buying you diapers, formula, toys, medicine, clothes. Oh yeah, those little baby shoes you wore once. They cost more than your future lunch budget. Existence starts racking up debt before you can even say mama. And people call it the miracle of life. Miracle. It's the only miracle that comes with a 30-year mortgage. They should call it the monthly payment of life. The hospital hits your parents with the first invoice the minute you arrive. Congratulations! It's a boy and a bill. And then the government gets involved. They slap a number on you, call it a Social Security ID, and suddenly you belong to the system. You're officially inventory. As you grow up, everyone acts like life is this grand adventure full of possibilities. They don't tell you those possibilities come with taxes, late fees, and a lifetime warranty of disappointment. You learn to crawl, then walk, then run right into the nearest school where they start programming you for the next bill. Because education isn't free either. Oh no. They make sure you understand one thing early. If you want knowledge, you got to pay for it. Even kindergarten has tuition now. Kids are learning the alphabet and debt collection at the same time. A is for apple, B is for bankruptcy. Then you get older and society starts whispering in your ear. Go to college, get a degree, follow your dreams. Follow your dreams. Sure, right into a lifetime of student loans. You spend 4 years learning how to think and 50 years paying for the privilege. You graduate thinking you're free, but really you're just a well-educated debtor with a shiny piece of paper that says, congratulations, you now owe us $100. And once you're out there, the meter keeps running. Rent, food, clothes, health insurance, it never stops. Breathing is free, but only until they start charging for oxygen tanks. You can't exist without a monthly subscription. You pay to live in a house, pay to drive to work, pay for the food that keeps you alive, and then pay taxes for the privilege of doing all of that. You're paying to participate in your own survival. That's not living, that's leasing your life. And let's not forget utilities, the invisible thieves. You pay for electricity, water, internet, gas, everything that makes life remotely bearable. Miss one payment, and they cut you off faster than a bad friend at a bar. You could be freezing in your own house, holding a candle, whispering, I guess this is what existence looks like now. Existence ain't free. It's not even discounted. It's a premium plan with hidden charges. Even when you try to have fun, it costs you. Want to go see a movie? That's 2,000 rupees for 2 hours of pretending your life isn't on fire. Want to go on vacation? Congratulations. You just paid to be temporarily less miserable. You spend money trying to escape the very system that demands your money in the first place. It's a scam with better lighting. And when you finally get that job they told you was the key to happiness, you realize you're just selling your time to afford more bills. You trade hours of your life for numbers in an account, then hand those numbers over to someone else. That's the cosmic joke. Your life's most precious resource is time, and you spend it making money you'll never have time to enjoy. You clock in, clock out, and eventually clock out permanently. And they replace you before your chair gets cold. People say, money can't buy happiness. Of course not. But try being happy when you can't pay rent. Try meditating on an empty stomach. Happiness is easier when the bills are paid. Let's not kid ourselves. You ever notice that rich people say, money isn't everything, right after they've bought another yacht? That's like a guy finishing a steak dinner saying, food's not that important. Easy to say when you've got a mouthful of filet mignon. Every stage of life has a new invoice. Childhood, pay with obedience. Adulthood, pay with exhaustion. Old age, pay with regret and medical bills. Hospitals are the final collection agency. You spend your youth paying for an education, your adulthood paying for a house, and your old age paying to stay alive a little longer. You're basically renting your body from the universe, and the interest rate keeps going up. You can't even die for free. Funerals cost a fortune. You die, and somehow there's still paperwork. Would you like the deluxe coffin package? No, thanks. Just toss me in a box and keep the change. But no, everything's monetized. Even death's got a price tag. You spend your whole life paying for everything. And when it's over, they send one last bill to your family. Thanks for playing. Here's your final statement. And don't get me started on taxes. You earn money. They take a cut. You spend money. They take another cut. You save money. They tax that too. You die. They tax your death. It's like living in a mafia-run theme park where the rides are broken and the admission never ends. You're not a citizen. You're a walking ATM with emotions. People like to say, you should be grateful to be alive. Sure, but it'd be easier to be grateful if it didn't cost so damn much. Gratitude doesn't pay the bills. Try calling your landlord and saying, I don't have the rent this month, but I'm feeling very thankful for existence. See how long it takes before you're grateful for a park bench. Life's like a casino you never wanted to enter. You get one chip, your time, and the house always wins. You can work hard, play smart, even cheat a little, but in the end, you're going home broke. And the cruel part, you spend most of your life trying to win enough to keep playing. You call that freedom. That's slavery with better Wi-Fi. People love to say, the best things in life are free. Oh, really love. Costs time, energy, and usually money. Friendship costs patience, and sometimes therapy. Health costs gym memberships, diets, vitamins, and overpriced green smoothies that taste like regret. Even peace of mind costs you. Have you seen the price of living somewhere quiet? You can't even hear yourself think without a down payment. Existence is like one of those free trial offers. First 18 years on your parents' dime, then the subscription renews, and you're stuck paying full price forever. And you can't cancel. You can try, but the universe has a strict no refunds, no returns policy. You're here until the bill collector in the sky says otherwise. And the craziest part, we compete over who's paying the bill better. People flex about their cars, their houses, their vacations, like bragging about how fancy your cage is. Look at my new luxury prison cell. It comes with granite countertops. It's all rented happiness. We lease joy, borrow comfort, and finance dreams. And we still end up tired, broke, and wondering where all the time went. The system's genius, really. They don't need to enslave you physically. They just convince you that freedom means paying bills on time. They make you proud of your prison. Look at me, I'm responsible. Responsible. You're a hamster who pays for the wheel. So you keep going. You wake up, go to work, pay the bills, and repeat. You convince yourself it's normal. You post quotes online like grind now, shine later, not realizing you're just polishing someone else's profit margin. You call it purpose, but it's just survival with a motivational caption. Existence ain't free, my friend. It's the world's oldest subscription model. You're born into it, built for it, and buried by it. And the fine print says you can't get out early. You can complain, you can laugh, you can even rebel. But one way or another, the meter's still running. The best you can do is make sure, while they're charging you for living, you at least get your money's worth of laughter before the lights go out. You ever notice how debt is the one thing in life that's truly reliable? It never takes a vacation, never gets tired, never calls in sick. Debt is the most loyal relationship you'll ever have. It's always there for you, right by your side, whispering in your ear, "Don't worry, you'll never be alone again." You can lose your job, your friends, your hair, your sanity, but your debt, that's your ride or die partner. Till death or bankruptcy, do you part. From the very beginning, the system makes sure you're born owing something. You come into the world naked and screaming, and before you even take your first breath, the hospital's already charging your parents for delivery services. Delivery! Like you're a pizza that showed up late. You don't even have a name yet, and someone's already running your tab. The second your name hits the system, your property, an asset and a liability rolled into one. They hand your parents a bill, and boom, you're officially part of the global debt chain. And it's not like it stops there. Debt is the default setting. You grow up thinking freedom is about choice, but every choice they give you comes with a payment plan. Want to learn something? Student loans. Want to drive? Car loan. Want a place to live? Mortgage. Want to survive a medical emergency? Hospital bills. You can't even have a toothache without signing a financial agreement. They've managed to turn human existence into a credit transaction. The world doesn't want you debt-free. They want you dependent. That's how they keep you polite, predictable, and permanently paying. They trick you early. They call it building credit. Sounds responsible, doesn't it? Build your credit score. What they don't tell you is that credit is just a polite word for acceptable slavery. They don't want you free, they want you reliable. The system doesn't trust people who don't owe anything. If you're debt-free, you're unpredictable. You can walk away, but when you're in debt, you'll keep working. You'll shut up. You'll obey. Because missing a payment is modern blasphemy. And it's not just money. I don't know, we owe everything. We owe time to our jobs, energy to our relationships, attention to our phones, and respect to people who haven't earned it. We're in emotional debt, spiritual debt, moral debt. The whole damn system runs on guilt. You feel guilty if you're not busy, guilty if you rest, guilty if you're not chasing something. They've programmed you to believe that doing nothing is a sin. Even your downtime is a transaction. You earn it. Ever notice that? People can't just relax anymore. They say things like, "I deserve this weekend." Deserve it. You have to deserve rest now. They've sold you a lie. That debt equals opportunity. Take out a loan, invest in your future. But whose future are we really building? The banks, the lenders, the corporations. You're not buying freedom. You're renting it with interest. You think you own your house. Try missing 3 payments. You think you own your car. Miss 1. You think you own your time. Try saying no to your boss. The truth is, you don't own anything, not even your thoughts. They've been financed by advertising. You don't dream your own dreams anymore. You dream the ones they sell you. Debt isn't just financial, it's psychological. It shapes how you think, how you feel, how you live. You start measuring your worth in numbers. Your happiness depends on digits in a bank account. Your identity becomes your credit score. You could be kind, generous, creative. But if that score dips below 600, suddenly you're not a good person anymore. You're a risk. You're a liability. It's financial judgment disguised as morality. And people buy into it. They wear their debt like a badge of honor. Oh, I just bought a new car. Translation, I just signed up to pay the same bank for 5 years. What? Just bought a house. Translation, we just volunteered for 30 years of financial servitude. But they smile, take pictures, pop champagne, and post it online because we've normalized captivity. We celebrate ownership we don't really have. It's like prisoners bragging about the color of their chains. And it's funny. Well, not funny, but funny tragic. How the system rewards debt. You'd think people who save money would be the smart ones. Nope. The banks don't like them. The banks want people who borrow. The more you owe, the more they trust you. They'll hand you platinum cards and call you valued customers. Valued! The only value you have is the interest they can squeeze out of you. You pay late, they profit. You pay early, they punish you with fees. It's a no-win game designed by people who've never had to play it. They say money makes the world go round, but that's not true. Debt does. Every government, every corporation, every individual, everyone's in debt to someone. The whole global economy is basically one giant pyramid scheme held together by people pretending it's fine. The U.S. owes trillions, and yet they lecture citizens about financial responsibility. That's like a drunk telling you to drink responsibly while holding a bottle in each hand. You ever notice that rich people don't really pay their debts? They manage them. They call it leverage. You call it late fees. They've got accountants, loopholes, offshore accounts. You've got credit card minimums and reminders. It's not that they're smarter. It's that they're playing a different game. You're trying to survive in monopoly while they're the ones printing the money. And here's the twisted part. Debt gives people purpose. Sounds insane, but think about it. Without bills, without loans, without things to chase, most people wouldn't know what to do with themselves. They've tied their identity to their payments. They wake up because they owe something. They measure progress by what they've paid off. It's sad, but it's the truth. Freedom terrifies people. Debt gives them direction, structure, something to worry about. It's the leash that keeps the herd together. Even kids aren't safe. They grow up watching adults drown in debt. And what's the lesson they learn? That's just life. You hear people say it all the time. That's just how it is. No, that's how we've been trained to accept it. They hand out credit cards in college like candy. And before you even understand interest rates, you're hooked. You're 19, signing away your future for a free pizza and a T-shirt. And once you're in, you never really get out. You just upgrade your chains from plastic to platinum. And have you noticed how everything now is on installments? It's genius, really. You can't afford something. No problem. Pay later. Pay in parts. Pay forever. Buy now. Pay later is the modern gospel. They've made debt fashionable. You're not poor. You're financing your lifestyle. You're not broke. You're investing in convenience. They've rebranded desperation as empowerment. And people eat it up because the alternative, living within your means, doesn't sound as sexy. Then there's emotional debt. The people-pleasing, the constant I owe them mentality. You ever notice how relationships work like bank accounts now? You give affection, expect affection back. You do a favor, you keep score. Everyone's trading something, owing something, collecting something. It's exhausting. No wonder people are burnt out. We're emotionally bankrupt. We've spent all our empathy paying off invisible debts to people who don't even deserve the interest. And at the core of it, debt is control. You keep people in debt, you keep them quiet. That's why they push it so hard. A free mind is dangerous. A free person asks questions. A free person doesn't spend 40 years doing something they hate. But a person in debt, they'll do whatever it takes to keep that paycheck coming. They'll obey. They'll smile. They'll play nice. Because missing one paycheck means disaster. That's not freedom. That's financial prison with permission to decorate the cell. You ever see those motivational posters in offices? Work hard, dream big. They should just tell the truth. Work hard so you can keep paying for the stuff that makes you too tired to dream. Because that's what it is. The system doesn't want dreamers. It wants payers. Reliable, efficient payers who keep the wheel spinning. You spend your life trying to climb out of debt. But the higher you go, the steeper it gets. Inflation, taxes, interest, fees. It's all quicks and disguised as progress. You work harder, earn more, spend more, owe more. You're a hamster in a suit, running on a golden wheel, telling yourself it's exercise. You call it ambition, but it's survival. And by the end of it all, if you're lucky, you manage to pay off everything. You're finally debt-free at 70. You take a deep breath, ready to enjoy life. And then the medical bills arrive. Because, of course, they do. You've spent your whole life paying for a future that doesn't even exist. That's the great joke. Debt doesn't end. It just passes on. The house, the loans, the stress, it all gets inherited. You don't leave behind wealth. You leave behind paperwork.
You ever notice how nobody really tells you what being an adult actually means? They just make it sound like this magical stage of life where you'll finally have freedom, money, and control. When you grow up, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, sure. What they forget to mention is that everything you want costs money, time, and your last bit of sanity. They sell adulthood like a luxury product, and when you finally get it, you realize it's a scam. A beautifully packaged, high-interest scam. When you're a kid, you can't wait to grow up. You look at adults and think they have it all figured out. They drive cars, buy stuff, go to work like they know what they're doing. Then you become one, and you realize they were all faking it. Every last one of them. Adulthood isn't about knowing what you're doing. It's about pretending you're not panicking while you're doing it. It's like walking into a fire while calmly saying, "I'm fine, everything's fine." As a kid, you dream about independence. I'll live alone. I'll eat whatever I want. I'll stay up all night. Then adulthood shows up and says, "Oh, you want to live alone? That'll be rent, utilities, groceries, internet, and half your soul." You stay up all night, but not because you're partying it. It's because your brain won't shut up about bills and responsibilities. You used to stay up for cartoons. Now you stay up calculating how long you can survive on instant noodles and hope. And food. Oh, remember when food just appeared? You came home from school and there it was, hot, free, and delicious. Now you open your fridge and it looks like a crime scene. A half-empty ketchup bottle, expired milk, and that mysterious container that's been there so long, it might have achieved consciousness. You finally understand why your parents yelled, "Do you think food grows on trees?" Because it doesn't. It grows on paychecks, and paychecks are allergic to staying in your account. Then there's work. Oh, the grand illusion. When you're young, people say, find a job you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. What they don't tell you is that the jobs you love don't pay, and the jobs that pay will eat your soul. You don't work because you love it. You work because you have to. Because if you don't, you can't afford to live long enough to figure out what you actually love. Adulthood is just trading your time for money, then trading that money for the time you lost. It's a hamster wheel with better lighting. And let's talk about money. As a kid, money is magical. It buys toys, candy, and happiness. As an adult, money buys stress relief, electricity, and slightly more expensive stress. You realize quickly that adulthood is basically managing an endless stream of payments. You pay for your house, your car, your health, your food, and then pay taxes so the government can mismanage all the things you already paid for. You're not living. You're just processing transactions in human form. And then people say, be responsible. Responsible for what exactly? Everything? You're responsible for yourself, your bills, your job, your relationships, your health, your sanity, basically for holding the entire world together while it's falling apart. They tell you to plan for the future, save money, invest, retire. Retire? Retire from what? The eternal struggle of pretending you're okay? You're supposed to save enough to stop working right around the time your back stops functioning. What's the point? You spend your best years working so you can rest when you're too tired to enjoy it. That's not a plan, that's a punchline. You ever notice how adulthood comes with paperwork? So much paperwork. Taxes, insurance, contracts, forms, bills, receipts. It never ends. You can't even sneeze without a document proving it happened. You spend half your life filling out forms for things you already own. You pay taxes to live, then pay taxes to die. Somewhere in the middle, you sign your name so many times you forget what it means. And the irony? Adults love to lecture kids about responsibility, but most adults don't even know what they're doing. They're just taller children with car keys and credit card debt. They make bad decisions, get emotional, hold grudges, and blame others, same as kids, but now they can legally buy alcohol to cope with it. The only difference between a child and an adult is that adults have mastered the art of pretending. You pretend you're confident, pretend you're stable, pretend you like your job, pretend you're happy. Adulthood is one long performance review, and the audience is just as confused as you are. And what's with this obsession with being productive? Adults worship productivity like it's a religion. You can't just be anymore, you have to produce. You can't rest without guilt. You can't enjoy a lazy day without hearing a little voice say, you should be doing something. So you end up vacuuming at midnight, answering emails at dinner, and scheduling relaxation time like it's a meeting. That's not living. That's corporate conditioning. You've become a machine that runs on caffeine and anxiety. And relationships, oh boy, they tell you love is beautiful. Sure, but it's also expensive and emotionally exhausting. Dating as an adult is like applying for a loan. Lots of questions, background checks, and a high chance of rejection. What do? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Lady, I don't even know where I see myself in 5 minutes. You go on dates that feel like interviews, hoping to find someone who's just as tired as you are. And when you do find them, you call it compatibility. We both hate everything. Let's move in together. Then come the family expectations. You get constant reminders. Get married, buy a house, have kids. Everyone acts like there's a universal checklist for happiness. You'll understand when you have kids, they say. Yeah, I'll understand how it feels to multiply my expenses by 3. Adulthood is just peer pressure with paperwork. You're constantly being told what milestones you're supposed to hit. And if you don't, people treat you like a malfunctioning robot. You're not married yet? You don't own property? No, but I've got peace of mind, and that's priceless, which is good because I can't afford anything else. And what's funny is that adults never stop competing. Even when they're miserable, they compare. Who has the better job, the bigger car, the smarter kids? It's like a never-ending misery contest. Nobody's happy, but everyone's pretending to win. You go to social gatherings where people brag about promotions, vacations, and investments. Meanwhile, everyone's secretly Googling how to fake joy without spending money. The best part? The motivational slogans. You can be anything you want. No, you can't. You can be whatever fits in your schedule between exhaustion and debt repayment. You can't be everything. There's not enough caffeine in the world for that. Follow your dreams. Sure, as long as your dreams fit into a 9-to-5 schedule and come with a dental plan. Adulthood is full of inspiring lies designed to keep you from noticing that you're running in circles. You start to notice how the system rewards you for surviving, not living. Pay your bills on time. Congratulations, you're responsible. Go to work every day. Hardworking citizen. Take care of your family. Good person. But if you stop, if you question the whole circus, suddenly you're lazy, unmotivated, a failure. They don't want you to think. They want you to function. Adulthood is less about growth and more about maintenance. Keep the machine running. Don't ask too many questions and smile while you're doing it. And let's not forget health. Remember when getting hurt meant a Band-Aid and ice cream? Now it's hospital visits, medical bills, and stress tests. You cough, and suddenly you're Googling symptoms and writing a will. You finally get health insurance, but it costs so much you start praying you never have to use it. And mental health? Forget it. You're supposed to meditate between emails and cure anxiety by drinking herbal tea. You're not depressed, you're just not managing your time efficiently. And yet through all of it, people keep pretending adulthood is something noble, like it's an achievement instead of a survival strategy. Everyone's tired, everyone's stressed, everyone's quietly screaming inside their own heads, but we all smile and say, I'm good, just busy. Busy, that's the adult word for dying slowly while pretending you're productive. The truth is, adulthood isn't about having control. It's about learning to juggle chaos and hoping nothing falls on your head. You wake up tired, go to work tired, come home tired, and call that a routine. You laugh less, sleep less, and worry more. You start buying things not because you need them, but because they make the grind feel a little less pointless. A new phone, a vacation, a fancy coffee maker, temporary distractions from the ongoing existential payment plan. And still, we tell kids, enjoy your youth while it lasts, but they won't listen. None of us did, because nobody believes adulthood is a scam until the first bill hits, until the first rent check bounces, until the first time you realize weekends aren't freedom, they're recovery. That's when it hits you. You didn't grow up. You just graduated into a more complicated version of being confused. So yeah, adulthood's the biggest hoax ever sold. You chase it your whole life, only to find out it's just childhood with bills, hangovers, and a never-ending to-do list. You don't arrive anywhere. You just get better at pretending you're not lost. And maybe that's the secret. Nobody knows what they're doing. We're all just kids in grown-up costumes trying to make sense of a world that keeps charging us for the privilege of existing. You know, somewhere along the way, money stopped being a tool and became a religion. I mean, look around. We don't pray to gods anymore. We pray to green paper and glowing screens that tell us how much imaginary power we have left in our bank accounts. You wake up in the morning and the first thing you check isn't your health, your family, or the sky outside. No, you check your balance. You check your balance like it's going to bless you with salvation. And if there's a few extra zeros, suddenly you feel holy. Suddenly the day looks brighter, your coffee tastes better, and your problems seem smaller. That's not faith. That's finance. It's funny. Religion used to promise heaven after death, but money promises heaven right now. Instant paradise right here as long as you can pay for it. Money's the new God, and every store is a church. The priests wear business suits, the sermons are advertisements, and the commandments are printed on your receipts. Thou shalt spend, thou shalt upgrade, thou shalt never, ever be satisfied. And you can't even escape it. From the moment you're old enough to walk, they teach you how to worship it. Get good grades so you can get a good job. Get a good job so you can make good money. Make good money so you can buy good things. That's the holy trinity of modern life. Work, spend, repeat. And if you ever dare to question the system, they look at you like you're some kind of heretic. What do you mean you don't want to make more money? Like that's blasphemy. People say money doesn't buy happiness, and that's true. But have you ever tried being happy without it? Try smiling with an empty stomach or paying rent with good vibes. Go tell your landlord, I'm spiritually rich. See how that works out for you. Money might not buy happiness, but it sure rents it for a while. It's like a temporary high, a little shot of relief before the next bill comes due. And that's what keeps the system going. They've turned need into addiction. You can't just buy what you need anymore. You have to buy what makes you feel complete. You've got to have the newest phone, the latest shoes, the upgraded car. You ever notice how people act when they get a new gadget? It's like a religious experience. They unbox it slowly, touch it like it's sacred, take a picture of it to share with their followers. It's a modern-day baptism. Behold, I have been cleansed by 128 gigabytes in facial recognition. The crazy part is the money itself isn't even real anymore. It used to be something you could hold, something you could count. Now it's just numbers on a screen, digital faith in a financial heaven that may or may not exist. You don't even see your money anymore. You just believe it's there. It's faith, pure and simple. You believe your salary got deposited. You believe your bank is protecting it. You believe your credit score means something. You believe all this invisible nonsense because that's what modern religion is. Belief in things you can't see, but that control your life completely. And the high priests of this religion, the bankers, the investors, the CEOs, they wear suits like robes and speak in tongues. Diversify your portfolio, maximize returns, hedge your assets. It's all just fancy ways of saying, give us your money and we'll pretend to make it grow. But in the end, it's all the same trick. A pyramid built on promises and paper. You work, they win. You save, they spend. You believe, they profit. You ever notice how everything revolves around money, even things that shouldn't? Love, health, education. All of it's been monetized. You can't even get sick in peace anymore. You catch a cold and suddenly it's a business transaction. Doctor visits, lab tests, prescriptions. It's like being sick as a membership plan. You want to stay alive. That'll cost you extra. And education? Oh, that's the best scam of all. They tell you it's the key to a better life. They don't tell you it's also the down payment on a lifetime of debt. You spend your youth studying how to be a good little worker, and by the time you graduate, you owe so much that the only thing you can do is keep working. That's not education. That's indoctrination. You're not learning how to live, you're learning how to pay. Even love isn't free anymore. There's a price tag on romance. Flowers, dinners, rings, weddings. You can't just love someone, you have to finance it. The whole thing's become a commercial. Show her you care. Buy this diamond. As if affection's measured in carats. The only thing priceless left in love is the receipt, because that's what you'll keep for returns. And religion itself, the old-fashioned kind, even that couldn't escape the dollar. Churches collecting donations like toll booths on the highway to heaven. Preachers flying private jets while their followers pray for rent money. You ever think maybe God's tired of the collection plate? Maybe he's up there like, I gave you free sunlight and water. Why are you charging for hope? But that's the beauty of money. It's everywhere and nowhere at once. You can't live without it, but you can't live for it either. People spend their whole lives chasing it, thinking once they get enough, they'll finally be free. But that's the joke. You never get enough. Because once you do, the world raises the price of happiness. It's like trying to win a game where the rules change every round. You work harder, you earn more, and somehow you still feel broke. Why? Because it's not about having money, it's about keeping you wanting it. One keeps you tired, one keeps you distracted, one keeps you obedient. If everyone woke up tomorrow and said, I'm happy with what I've got, the whole economy would collapse by lunchtime. They can't have that, so they keep feeding you dreams you can buy as long as you pay in monthly installments. They've even managed to monetize peace of mind. You can't just relax anymore. You need a subscription for that. Meditation apps, sleep machines, vacation packages. We've turned serenity into a product. Inner peace for $9.99 a month. Even your calm has ads in it. You know what's really wild? People will spend money to make money. They'll buy books, take courses, attend seminars, all to learn the same lesson life teaches you for free, that time is worth more than currency. You can lose money and make it back. You lose time, it's gone forever. But nobody wants to hear that, because the truth doesn't sell. Hope does. And maybe that's the final sermon of this religion, hope. The promise that if you just keep grinding, keep buying, keep hustling, one day you'll make it. You'll reach the promised land of comfort and freedom. But that land doesn't exist. It's a mirage painted on billboards and screens. By the time you realize it, you're too tired to care. You've been paying interest on dreams that were never real in the first place. So we keep going. We keep believing. We keep tithing to the Church of Capital, because what else can you do? You can't opt out. You can't cancel the subscription. All you can do is laugh at the absurdity of it all. The way we turn numbers into meaning and possessions into identity. You might not believe in heaven or hell, but money's managed to create both right here on earth. And if that's not religion, I don't know what is.
You know, everyone's so busy trying to figure out life, trying to control every single piece of it, trying to win a game that doesn't even have a scoreboard. But here's the truth. You're not going to win. Nobody wins. Life's the casino, and we're all the gamblers sitting at the table pretending we've got a strategy. The house always wins, my friend. You're not going to beat it. The trick is to play long enough to laugh before the lights go out, because that's the one thing nobody tells you. You don't escape the cost of life. You pay for it every day in time and stress, in love and loss. The bill keeps coming whether you can afford it or not. So, what do? You laugh. You don't laugh because it's funny. Most of it isn't. You laugh because it's all you've got. You laugh because crying doesn't change a thing, but laughing makes it a little easier to keep walking through the madness. Think about it. Life's absurd. You spend your childhood wanting to grow up, and your adulthood wishing you could go back. You spend your days working for money and your nights spending it to feel alive. You go to school to learn how to live, but by the time you figured it out, you're too tired to care. You plan, you save, you worry. And then a single bad day can wipe it all out. A sickness, a job loss, a heartbreak, poof, gone. All that control you thought you had. Illusion. You never had control, you just had a schedule. And the worst part, we take it all so seriously. People walk around like they're going to live forever, like every little mistake is the end of the world. Relax your temporary. You're a Mayfly with Wi-Fi. In 100 years, nobody's going to care what car you drove, what job you had, or how many followers you collected like trading cards. We act like the universe owes us something, meaning, fairness, justice. The universe doesn't owe you a thing. It was here before you. It'll be here after you. And it doesn't even know your name. So why not laugh? Why not find the absurdity in all of it? Because life is one big cosmic joke, a beautiful, ridiculous mess. You wake up, you eat, you work, you stress, you sleep, and then you do it again. You chase happiness like it's hiding somewhere in the next paycheck or the next relationship. But happiness isn't hiding. You are. You're hiding behind expectations, behind pride, behind the lie that everything has to make sense. The truth is, nothing makes sense. Not really. You can spend your whole life trying to decode it, or you can stop pretending there's a code and start enjoying the nonsense. Because once you stop trying to control it, life gets lighter. You start to see the humor and the pain, the comedy and the chaos. You trip, you fall, you fail, and instead of crying, you start laughing because, damn, this game is ridiculous. We're all taking turns pretending we've got it figured out. You ever notice that? Every generation thinks they've cracked the code to happiness. Then they pass down a new version of the same bad advice: go to school, get a job, get married, buy stuff, be happy. And every generation follows it like it's scripture, only to realize they're still tired, still broke, and still wondering what the hell they're doing here. Maybe that's the point. Maybe the joke's on all of us. The world sells you a dream and you buy it with your time. That's the real currency, not money, not fame, time. Every second you spend angry, anxious, or afraid, that's time you'll never get back. Life keeps the change. That's why laughter is priceless, because it gives you a moment back. One pure, real second where you forget about the bill and just exist. It's the only rebellion we've got left. You see, when you laugh, you're saying, I see your game, life, and I'm not buying it. You're saying, yeah, you can break me, but you can't make me miserable. You can't tax ladder. You can't repossess joy. That's freedom, not the kind they sell in commercials, not the kind written in constitutions. The kind you create in your own mind when you stop giving the world permission to control your emotions. You ever meet those people who can laugh at anything? Not because they don't care, but because they've seen enough to know that nothing's permanent. Those are the truly rich people. They could lose everything and still find a reason to smile, because they understand that life is a rental, not a purchase. You don't own your time here, you're just borrowing it. And since you can't keep it, you might as well make it fun. But here's the thing. Laughter doesn't come easy for most people anymore. We're too busy comparing, competing, complaining. We scroll through other people's highlight reels and wonder why our lives don't look like that. Because nobody's posting their breakdowns. Nobody's filming their fear. The world's become a talent show for pretending. And in that kind of world, laughter is rebellion. It's the middle finger to perfection. And it's not just about cracking jokes. Laughter is medicine for the mind. It breaks tension. It deflates ego. It brings people together in ways that logic never can. You can argue with someone for hours, but if you laugh together for 10 seconds, you suddenly remember they're human. That's the power of laughter. It's the universal equalizer. It doesn't care about your status, your beliefs, or your bank account. It just reminds you that you're alive. And maybe that's the lesson. Stop chasing the meaning of life and start laughing at the cost of it. Because no matter how you play it, you're not getting out alive. You can save, plan, hustle, pray, and meditate. But the meter keeps running. The bill keeps growing. The lights will go out one day, whether you're ready or not. So what's the point of stressing over it? You've got two choices. You can spend your days worrying about what's next, or you can look around and realize this is it. This messy, unpredictable, chaotic ride, this is life. It's not waiting for you to get it together. It's not on pause while you figure things out. It's happening right now in all its imperfect glory. And if you don't stop to laugh, you'll miss the whole show. People spend so much time trying to escape reality, chasing pleasure, avoiding pain, pretending they're in control. But the real freedom comes when you embrace it all, the good, the bad, the ugly, and still find a reason to smile. Because once you can laugh at life, it stops scaring you. Once you can laugh at yourself, nobody else can hurt you. That's real power. Not the kind that comes from money or status, but the kind that comes from knowing you can't lose what you never really owned. And maybe that's what it means to live, not to conquer, not to collect, but to enjoy. To walk through the madness and still find beauty in the noise. To fall down 1,000 times and still find humor in the landing. To look the universe in the eye and say, "You got me again. Good one." Because at the end of it all, that's all you can do. You can't stop the bills, the losses, the heartbreaks. You can't predict the next twist or dodge every punch. But you can choose to laugh. You can choose to see the absurdity instead of the agony. You can choose to find joy in the middle of the mess. Life's going to charge you either way, for every mistake, every dream, every heartbeat. But laughter, that's the only thing you get for free. And if you don't take it, you're just overpaying for an experience that was supposed to be funny from the start.